Hi friends, welcome to Webcam. In this video, I'm going to discuss CSS for web pages. What does the CSS stands for? Okay, what is mean by CSS? So CSS is a cascading style sheet, and if you want to design web pages, okay, if you want to design web pages, you need to write a CSS along with HTML. HTML is simply used to add the content to the browser or to the web pages, but if you want to design, if you want to make the page beautiful, CSS comes in a picture. Okay, and in my one of the video that HTML for web pages, I have discussed how to link HTML and CSS. So this is the structure. Okay, this is a fixed structure. In HTML is the biggest element of HTML page or HTML web page, then head element and body element. So inside a head element, we will always link the external files. So I will say link, and in this I will add html.css. So this is just a linking way, and whatever the property we will give in this html.css file, it will be picked for those particular element. So how CSS works? Okay, let me start with this. Okay, so to work with CSS, you should know the syntax, how CSS to be written, right? So let's say you have a one element. Let me add one element. Let's say this is what the element, and you have some text in this jump. Okay, and just assume this element is as h1 element. H1, you know, heading tag. Oh, this is a h1 element, and if you want to pick this, or if you want to give the style to this h1 element, you need to refer this tag name called h1. Okay, so let me add something like here, and if I say webcam. Okay, now I have elements. Okay, let me go back and render the file. So here you can see output. Here you can see output. Okay, and I wanted to add the style to this webcam. What kind of style I can add? So we can add yes is okay, that is not cascading style. Sheet is just long form for your reference, and CSS will have, I mean, what kind of style we can add? We can add colors. Then next we can add border. Next we can add backgrounds. Backgrounds. Okay, then we can set many more things are there. We will see one by one. Okay, but for the text element, we will see this as just a starting of CSS. So what I will do, I will just use the selector. So here we are using element name or tag name, I can say, as a selector, as a selector. And using selector, we can add style to that particular elements. Okay, so syntax for selector is just selector, and here property name has to value. So this is the syntax of CSS. By giving or to give the style to the HTML element, we will follow the same. We have selected the selector. Now we want to add the property. Okay, what kind of a property? Any property we can apply, and I would like to say its color. Color should be okay, brown. I can select the color value, and I will just refresh here. Okay, so this will change the color of text, whatever the text that element has. Okay, so if I will have multiple elements, 2, 3, 4, so I don't need to write the H1 again, or I mean for separate, it will automatically pick for all the H1 once we have to give the property, and all the elements will be in that particular format whatever we have declared. So what is the benefit I would like to discuss here with external CSS? So if you want to use the inline CSS, that was the disadvantage. Okay, style, and you would like to say color green, right? But if you want to give the same color to the all the elements, you need to specify these to or this property to all elements, and that is the drawback. Every time for each and every element you need to write inline CSS. That's why I would like to say that external CSS is always better than inline CSS. Why? Because if concise code we can write, we declare the property only once and it will be applicable for the all the element instead of writing inline CSS for all the elements. Okay, let me remove this. So this is how the CSS properties are given to HTML. This is the way. Okay, one of the way we have seen that internal CSS also, that we will use the style attribute, oh sorry, not attribute, style element. Style attribute will be used when we have to give the style, I mean in the inline CSS. So here we can use, but this makes again code complex, so it is better to keep the code in the separate line using external CSS. That is what we are using in this tutorial. Okay, so now we got a basic idea about how to link CSS and what is the syntax of CSS selectors, or what is the syntax to give the CSS to that particular element. So now we will discuss, see, that is not only the way we can use the only element name or tag, whatever the tag would be there as a selector. There are different selectors. Because what kind of or what are those types of selectors we will discuss here. So if I go to this page, if I say, okay, what is happening this? Okay, it is taking, fine. Okay, I don't want to select this. Okay, now if I say selector, selectors in CSS. Okay, so what are the different types of selectors we have in CSS? So first one that we have seen is element name. So by using element name or tag name, we can style all the elements of that particular web page. This is what we have seen. And h1 is the element, our element, and we are using selector as h1. That is possible, but there is more ways. But how? So now what I need to do, I have h1 webcam 4 times, but I wanted to give this different color to this webcams. Means for each head element or each h1 element, I wanted to give the different style. How to give, right? And to categorize these elements, HTML has something called class. And I can say that class name or class value can be anything. We can say that the class name is first. Similarly, we can add, we are using class is a kind of category. Okay, we are defining different categories here. Class, okay, and I will say first, second, third, and fourth. Okay, just for the demo purpose, I have selected these names. We will not use this kind of names. Okay, we will use the appropriate names for that particular web content based on whatever the content we are going to add to that page. But now for the understanding purpose, I have used, it is not mandatory to use this. It's like first, second, third, fourth. Okay, you can use, there is no problem, but that will be more difficult, because we will have lots of content to the web pages and lots of heading elements. So okay, so to group, class is used to group the element. Okay, how to group the element? Okay, we will see first how to give the property. So whenever you wanted to use the class, so we don't need to use this selector, since we have a class. And always use dot in the CSS file before, just before, means immediately, and then write the class name. Means you have to write dot first, and then you will say color. Okay, let me pick any of the color. I will pick blue, and I will go to the here and I will refer. Okay, now what I did, I have changed the color of only this element, and this is what possible because of class selector. Class is used to categorize the element, same type of elements into the to form the different categories or to group it together. Okay, similarly I can add color and all to the all class elements. Okay, first, second, then I would like to say third, and last is a fourth. FOURT. And now I will change the color. Okay, change the color. Okay, I picked the same one. I will pick this one, and okay, yellow one. So now I have picked 4 different color for these 4 elements. Okay, let's see what will be the output. And here we can see the different elements are colored in a different style. This is what possible because of class only. We cannot differentiate h1, okay, if there is no class available. And class can be duplicate. What I need to do, I wanted to give the color to this element alternate ways, means first and third and fifth and seventh will be there, okay. So they will, I will add a few more here, and first, second, third, okay, this is third, then fourth is then again the fifth one should have same color. And it means even an odd basis on the no, element, okay. If element is odd, I wanted to add blue color. And if even element is at even position, okay, then I wanted to add green color. So how to do that? So class can be duplicated, okay. Same class we can use for the multiple elements, so don't have a problem. I will say odd element as a first class and even element as a second class. So now what it will do, whenever we have declared a class as a first, it will mark that element, or it will change the color of that element to the blue. And here you can see the output of all h1. Okay, so first, third, fifth and seventh element is in a blue color, because this is how the class we can use. Class can be duplicate. We can use a duplicate class name, or repeated time, means any number of times we can use the same class. Or that is not for the only one element. If you want to use this blue color for the other type of elements, we can use. There will not be any restriction, okay. But out of these, if there is a fifth element, is a very special element. If there is a fifth element is a very special, I wanted to change the style. See, we have a class but in this order only, and I don't want to disturb this structure. I can say this structure means what the sequence first, second, or is given, or in one of the bases we have given that odd categories will have, or 1 3 5th categories will have class name first. So I don't want to change this, but I wanted to change the style of that element. Particular element we would like to say fifth number element. So to make these changes, we can add one more attribute called id attribute. Okay, this is fourth, I will go for the fifth and I will say id. And id can be anything, okay. Id, just I will say test. And whenever you wanted to use the id as a selector, you need to use hash, and I would like to say hash test. So this is the syntax, okay. Dot is used with class, hash is used with id. And now I would like to say color I would like to say color, and okay, this color I will give. Okay, now go here and refresh the page, and here you can see based on id selector, okay, the color is changed. But we have second, or sorry, this first class also, and the why this is not taken up, why this blue color is not taken up and this color is taken up. Okay, so remember this, whenever we use the id to give the property, class properties will be dominated. Dominated means that will be ignored. If the same elements can have say one class and one ID. Okay, and whenever we apply property to this ID, it will dominate all other selectors property. Means if we use the h1 as a selector, that will be also dominated from the external CSS. Okay, there is a way to overcome this issue, but we will discuss later on. So now just remember that if we use the ID as a selector, that properties will be preferred first to give the style. Later on, class will be prepared, and after that this element name will be prepared. This is how CSS is designed. So we have seen first, that is what the element, what not this first, I am talking about the element selector. I would like to say h1, and I will say color, only one color I will give, blue violet. Okay, and here if I refresh this, output will not change. Why? Because class also dominate element, ID dominate to the class dominate to the element. This is how it work. It is the preference based on, it is called specificity of that particular selectors. Okay, whose specificity is very high, or we can say highest specificity will be preferred, and ID has highest specificity, then second number is of class, and third at position is element. Okay, so we have seen this selectors, but there is a one more selector. What if I wanted to add style to this all means what? Okay, so now we have only h1. Instead of h1, I would like to say here p is just, I'm using to change the element. Later on I will say h2 or h2. I would like to say h3. Okay, h3, and okay, h5, we can say h5, just for the trial purpose, to show you one very important selector. Okay, then I would like to say span. Okay, span is one of the HTML element. It do not have any browser default property. We can use this to change the color or to add some property to the specific text or paragraph or of a heading. Okay, then what I can say here, okay, it is fine. I will say h3, and in this format we have, means we have different elements, and just consider that we are not using any class, okay, to give the property, and I wanted to give the property to this all the elements. See, we have seen already that class can be used. We define the class for the all, same class for the all element, and we can give the property in one go. But if I wanted to give the property to different elements without using class, or if I wanted to override the browser default property, okay, what does mean by browser default property? We will see. I will discuss on in some time. Okay, so here in this style I have declared different elements, and we have given only property to the h1. That's why it is picking up that blue violet color for these two elements. But now what I need to do, I need to change the color for all these elements in one go. Instead of using class and id, I have something called universal selector. Okay, so we have seen this. Second is class selector. We have seen class selector using dot. Third is id selector which is using hash, and fourth one is universal selector. Universal means all, for everything. For everything, that is we need to specify using star. We don't need to use the any name. I will only change this h1 to star. Okay, so what will happen, this will add property, whatever the property I have given in that block of css. Okay, so it will be applicable for the all elements of that particular page where we have linked that css. Okay, now what I wanted to do, I was talking about something called browser default property. So by default, these are taking up a space and write some space around it. So we can, if you want to remove that, we can use this selector, or if you want to change the entire page style, then we can use this selector. Means for all elements. Okay, it will be applicable for each and every type of element. Okay, if I say, we can give multiple properties also, and I would like to refresh this. Okay, background is given to the body. Background is directly given to the body because body is one of the element. Right? Body is one of the element. So we can't see different. But if you want to add background to this specific element, we can use the element name, or we can give the class name, or we can use the ID to give the background to that specific element. Okay, now let's discuss about colors. Right? How to give color value. How to give color value. Okay, it is fine that we can use the selector. I would like to reduce this. Okay, I will keep this and I will say h1. Okay. Second is we are going to discuss color. So how to give the color value? In the color value, first one. Okay, first one is RGB value. Okay, and I will discuss this. What is RGB value? RGB stands for red, green, blue. Okay, and the next RGBA. Here A is alpha. Alpha means it specifies the transparency of color. Okay, and third is hex value, hexagonal value. Okay, and in the last something called HSL value. Okay, these are okay RGB, but this is not the function. So hex value is always started with hash, and it will have 0000006, or I mean until 6 numbers followed to indicate. First it will first 2 digit for the red color, then second 2 digit for the green color, and next 2 digit for blue color. This is how it works. And RGB stand, as I said, RGB. Okay, so here we have to mention the value of or bandwidth of color between 0 to 255 for red, again 0 to 255 for green, again 0 to 255 for blue. And same thing is applicable for RGBA also. We have to give the bandwidth of color between 0 to 255, and at the end alpha is between 0 to 1, alpha varies. Okay, if it says 0 means it will be fully transparent. Okay, whatever would be there in the background of that element, we can see that. And if we use the value alpha value as a 1, it will not be transparent. Okay, I will show you so that you will understand in detail. Visualization or visual effect is very good to understand. Okay, I will say color. And here, okay, we can see here, you can see the directly it is showing hexagonal or hex values using hash and this. So this color, this type, so Visual Studio code, we are using that text editor, so it provides directly if we use the color name, it will provide the different options of that color. I will like to say, if you say green, it will show green and green yellow. Okay, so this is how it works, but internally it picks the hexadecimal value, not hexadecimal, hexagonal hex values of color. Okay, I will say green color. Okay, and but if I wanted to give the same green color by using RGB value, so you can go to the Google and search RGB for green, and there will be lots of option. Okay, so this is the site, or any site we can refer. Rapid tables is there. Okay, so here you will get the different values of RGB for different green colors. Okay, light green, light sea green. Okay, many colors are there. We cannot categorize, or not sure how many colors would be there. But if you want to give the color of this green only, we can use this RGB. Okay, just copy this and go here and remove this and paste. This will work. And here we can see the green color. So this is how color can be given. Okay, if you want to use the X value, here you can copy this and don't need to do anything. You can use this directly. And again, or let's say I would like to use other color so that you can see the difference. So I will use this spring green. Okay, let me change this. And now if I refresh this, okay, so here you can see spring green color is added. Okay, let me add. Okay, we have something called RGBA, right? So I will go here, and now if you see, it is just picking up a dark green color. I will add some background to this so that we can see the difference. I will say background color, and I will pick any of the color from directly here. Okay, this color I would like to pick, and it has given a background. Now I wanted to add the alpha value to this RGBA. Okay, I will say RGBA and comma, and I would like to say 0. Okay, what does this mean? If we say alpha value as 0, it will make that text fully transparent. Means it's like an hidden text. Okay, means entire transparency we are declaring as a 100%. But I don't want to do that. So if I say 0.5, so it will be little bit faint. It looks like faint. And if I say 1, transparency will be 0, and it looks dark. Okay, so this is how color can be added to element by using RGBA, hex, or RGB is there. and HSL is there, that is stands for phi saturation lightness is something called, but that you can refer. Okay, phi is degree for red color, it is 0 to 120. For green color it is 120 degree, and 240 degree it will show blue color. Okay, let's try instead of using this. So what I will do, I will say HSL, and here you are getting an option that you have to add the degree here. Degree means 0 to 360 degree, we have, okay, angle degree, and 0 is representing for the red. I will say red, I mean I wanted to add a red, then I will say 0. Okay, then saturation is a percentage, and if we say, means what kind of shade you wanted to add. Okay, what shade you wanted to add, based on that this percentage will be selected. I will say gray color shade should be added, so I used 0%. I will say 0%. Okay, and lightness is again percentage, and 0 is for black color, 100% is for white color. Okay, I will say 100%. So randomly I have picked value. Okay, so here you can see it is reflecting a white color, and if I say 50%, it will be showing a gray. Okay, so instead of this I will show here. So this kind of color combination will be produced by using HSL also. Okay, so this is about the giving an color to the HTML elements, right? And color can be given to the background, color can be given to the border, and color can be given to the text, right? Color can be given to the text, border, and so I would like to mention here so that it will be easy to remember all of you: border, text, and background. Okay, so for these three position, or for these three things we can use the color. Okay, next property I would like to discuss is background in CSS. Okay, what is this background? Okay, I will say CSS background, three background. So background can be added to the any element, or in the background we can give the killer, sorry, not a killer, okay, color. And what is the next? We can add the image also as a background of any element. And with respect to image, we have different properties. Okay, so that we will see. So if you want to add the background to the any element, we can use directly as a color, background color. And if you want to attach one of the image, any type of image can be added. Okay, so we can use the, or we can add the image also. So let's see how to add image, or how to give the color. So color is something that we have seen, that I already have given here, that color is added, right? Background color is given here. So this is what the background color we can add. But now I wanted to add background image. So before adding to the image, okay, we need a container for these elements, because how much area to be covered by that image we have to define, so that will be better idea. So always make a practice to store the element or add the elements inside a div is a container for any type of HTML elements. It's a container, just a container. Okay, and I would like to say this, or this, and this. So now div is containing, and we can add the background to this div, right? If we add background to this h1, okay, as an image, it will not be a problem, but that image size will be larger, and we have to control that size. And for that purpose we can use the div here, and for the div we can declare something called height. So we are covering height and width here. I would like to say div. Okay, so we don't have number of divs, so I can go with name called div. Means we can give the property to the div directly using element name. But in case if I have multiple divs in these, what I need to do, as we did earlier for the h1 elements, right? We had multiple h1s and we used the class. Similarly, we need to use the class or id here. Okay, so I will say height. Height can be given to the any of the element. Okay, I mean it should be given to the container only. For text we can't add height, right? Because it is not a kind of that element. So for text we have something called font size. Okay, so whenever we will see text related properties, I will discuss that what is the font size. Okay, so I will say height. I will pick as a 300 pixel. Okay, and then we can give the width. I will say it is fine if I pick the 100%. Okay, no problem, I will say 100%. So this unit can be, I mean, in the pixel, right? Size can be defined, our height and width can be defined in a pixel or in percentage. So if we say 100%, it will pick the entire width. If we say 50%, it will pick the 50%. 50%, you can understand, right? Half of the width. If I go here, okay, nothing changed, right? Because we have given the property to this element. So I would like to remove that property and I will add there. Okay, see, for us CSS is very important. So what I did, I have added height and width to the div element, and it will contain these two elements will be remain in their divs area, whatever the area div has covered. Okay, so we can see now what area div has covered. So div has covered this area. Okay, and it is saying that, okay, I would like to say 100%. Okay, and yes, so it is saying that this is a 300 pixel height and 100% width. If I go and if I say to this, hey, don't take that much width, I wanted to give you 50% width, it will say okay, no problem, I will take 50% width. Whatever we declare here, accordingly this entire page will behave. This entire page will be behaves. Okay, so we got to know that how to add background color. Okay, it is fine, we can add, as I said, we can add image to the background also. How to add? Okay, so as like we have a property called a background color, similarly we have a property called background image. And whenever you wanted to add image as a background, you need to specify the path of that image file. Okay, so here now I would like to bring image. Okay, and okay, we are here and I have a one image called HTML. What is the extension of this image? Okay, it's a JPG file, so JPG will be there. So if you want to give the path of that image, okay, you need to use the URL function. URL function, inside a URL function in the string format means inside a double quotation that HTML dot JPG. So this is how you need to give the path with extension whatever would be the file name, this is how the path should be given. Okay, I will just zoom out this. Okay, so now it looks better. What I will do, I will just refresh this page, and here you can see the image is loaded in the background, but image, you see how this will works. We have not defined background size here, so that's why what it is doing, it is picking up actual image size. It is picking up actual image size. But if we go to this image is like this, and it is not picking up 100% width, or I mean 100% image. This happens because we didn't tell to the browser that how that image should be picked, right? And it is picking up as actual, and we have given the short, I mean the height of this image somewhere around 600 pixel. Okay, so if I increase the height, it will say okay, I will say 400. Okay, whatever would be the height, 400, or it may be 500. I am just randomly picking, and it is still less, so I will say 450. Okay, so now it has picked, and we have given a short width. That's why that image is not looking beautiful. I will say 100% width. And you are seeing something here. Okay, that image is picked, and again that image is started. Okay, the image is again started, means that image is reflecting again. What I will do, I will change the size of this image. So I will say background size. Okay, oh no, background, repeat, background size. Okay, here it is the property background size. I can give 200 pixel as and okay, if I say 200 pixel, it will pick the for 200 pixel for all the sides, and image will be shorter. Oh, then what is this happening? Okay, so here we can see that image is continuously repeating. As long as the space is available, that image is getting repeated. I don't want this image to be repeated. What I will do, I will say background image. Okay, not image. It should, I have to say background repeat. Okay, I will say no repeat. The moment I declare as a no repeat, it will not repeat the image. Okay, that image is picked. Okay, so this is how we can declare the image should be getting repeated or not, and if you want that should repeat, so you can say repeat here. By default, it will be repeat. By default property will be repeat. Okay, so to cover the entire area of that specific element for which we have mentioned background as an image. Okay, so I want this image to be repeated in only horizontal direction, so I will say repeat X. Okay, what it will do, it will repeat the image in only horizontal direction, right? If I change this to Y, it will repeat the image in vertical direction only. It will not repeat the image in horizontal direction. Okay, so this is how four values can be used: repeat X, repeat Y, no repeat, and repeat is default value. Size can be given. Okay, size can be given into two values, that 200 pixel and 400 pixel. 400 pixel. So first one is width, and second one is the height, we can see. And I would like to say now Or what will happen if I use the percentage here 50%? Okay. Now this is taking up the width to the element. Okay. I mean to cover the entire element. We have given 100% width, but it is taking 50%. If I say 100%, no problem. It will take 100% width. Okay, so we can define the size as we want, right? And if I reduce the width of this, it will take 100% of this div only, okay, not to the body only. It is, I mean, this percentage is related to this div's width. Means if the div width is 50%, but background size is 100%, that means background width is 100%. That means with respect to this page, it will cover only div size, okay, not to the this entire page size, right? Means it always these properties always stick to its parent or its elements property. Okay, so this is how background can be designed. And background size we have seen, background color, background image, background repeat, no repeat, we have seen with respect to these properties. Okay, horizontal, vertical we have seen. Now we have something called background position. Okay, what I will do, I will say 200 pixel, 200 pixel, and I wanted to set the position of this. Okay, I don't want to repeat this, so I would like to say no repeat. Okay, it is not repeating, but if I add border to this, I will show you how much 2px. Okay, we have to see this border property, but tentatively I will use this to show you the difference. Now it is covering up this much space, and the image is by default it is positioned at left side and top side, right? Top is 0, left is 0. I wanted to change this position, so for that purpose I have something called background position. Background position, I can say okay, right and right bottom, and if I say right bottom, it will change the position to this right bottom. If I say right top, it will go to the top position. Okay, so this is how background position can be used. So, but I wanted to show you one more thing about this background. If I don't have scroll bar, okay, what I will do, I will say height, and height is 1000 pixel. Okay, I'm just intentionally adding this so that it will add scroll bar here. And now you can see that the image is scrolling with this page. By default it is scrolling, but I don't want this image to be scrolled. Okay, I don't want this image to be scrolled. So what I will do, I have one more property called background attachment fixed. What it will do, oh, the image is gone. Why? If I say background attachment, no, it is coming up, but it should remain at the same position. I wanted to make these as a fix. I will say 100% width of this page. Okay, that will not affect anything. I will just increase the size of this image. Now we have a large space, 200 pixel to 300 pixel. Okay, and I want to put the restriction that image should be fixed at this location only. It should not scroll up with the page. And if I say background attachment fixed, it should be fixed. Okay, so now you can see this, that the image is not scrolling up with the page is here. You can see the scroll bar is scrolling up and down, but the image position is remains same. So this is how we can make the background is at a fixed position. Background image, or yes, background image should be at a fixed position. Okay, so these all are the background related property that we have discussed. Okay, now we have added border also. So there is something called border properties in CSS. So border, this is what I was using shortcuts for this, but this in this way we should not use. Okay, I will keep this height and width. Now I wanted to add the border. Okay, so how border works and why I was using that 2px solid and that color name. Okay, I will show you. But what is the difference, or what we call technically in the CSS language for the border? So I would like to say border. Okay, whenever I write a border, okay, it give us different properties. Okay, that is the beauty of using this VS Code Studio, not Studio, VS Code only. Border. Okay, I will define border width as a 5px, or no, not 50px. Okay, 50 will be great. Or I will say 10px for the entire page. It is fine. I am declaring it for the. Now I would like to say border style. Border style, and border style can be dashed, dotted, double, groove, hidden, inherited. Okay, insert. So inherit, it will pick the border style of parent element. Okay, if you want to set that like this, we will see how inherit works. Okay, insert, none, and many styles are there, and I was using solid, so I will use here solid also. And now I would like to say border color. Okay, we can pick any type of the color. I will say brown color. And now if I refresh this page, the border will be added like this. Okay, and the scroll bar is added. Why this added will be discussed in box model. Okay, so we have seen what is called border width. Okay, and what is called solid. What does mean by it is a border style, and color is something we are aware of this. So instead of giving this different different as a different property or as a separate property, what we can do, we can use the shorthand for border by using border. And I first you have to declare the width of border. I will say 5px. Okay, and what style we had used, we used solid. And now I would like to say color, I will change this to green. Okay, nothing will happen, it will remain same as we discussed earlier, but it will only change the color of this. Okay, border width and border thickness. Okay, 5px I have used. Okay, earlier I think I used 10 pixel. Yes, that's why the difference. And it looks very similar, right? So I hope you got the clear picture about what does this mean. Or here you can see the syntax: line width, line style, and line color also. Now what I wanted to do, I wanted to add, or I wanted to make this corner as a circular. So what I will do, I have a property called border radius. So border radius cannot be used in a shorthand. Okay, only these three properties can be declared. Width, style, and color can be declared in shorthand. And border radius you need to declare separate. I will say 50 pixel. Okay, what it will happen? Okay, what does this mean by? You can see now we have a border with rounded corner or circular corner, we can say. Right, so this is how border can be given to the HTML elements. Okay. So with this many discussion, I would like to conclude this video here. And in this video, we have seen that how border works, right? Or how border properties are given. Border properties are given to the element. Then we discussed how image can be added to the background using CSS. Then we discussed different ways of coloring the text or border or background, and selectors in CSS. At very first place we have discussed this. Okay, so next properties will be discussed in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the video.